malls or supermarkets, when you're walking and closing the door, it just opens, right? You don't need to touch it, and then when you're past it, they close. So things like that are automated. If you enter a smart house, the curtains, the lights in the rooms, the temperature of the room, everything is automated. So let's say this place is getting hot, as I've said, it's hot. You can have a sensor, a temperature sensor that will say if the temperature is more than 40 degrees, right? If it's more than 40 degrees, then let the AC come, something like that. But if it is less than 40 degrees, let the AC go off. So very simple things like that. And how they happen is some components serve as input devices, some serve as output devices. So from our basic knowledge of computing, can anybody tell me what input devices are? Simple definition. Yes.
Input devices are gadgets that send information to software.
A component that send information to the computer. Yeah. You can work with that. How about output devices? Process from the computer, right? So those are output devices. So yes, we have our input devices and output devices. Examples. What's an example of input device?
Keyboard.
Mouse, keyboard. Okay. How about output devices? Monitor. So is something like a scanner, is it an input device or output device? Output. Is scanner an input device or output device? Sir? Input. So it's actually an input device. And we know that because the data, whatever is being processed, we have to check the flow of the data. So when we process this, when we scan a document, for instance, we send the scanned copy into the computer, right? So by that, we know that it's an input device. How about something like a printer? Is it an input or output device? Dominion. Is a printer an input device or output device? You look like you want to sleep. You want to sleep? Okay. So is it an output device or input device? A printer. An output device, right? Because data is coming from the computer and then going out. How about something like a pad, a game pad? It's an input device. Okay, that's a good one. So, what about all of you know tablets now? Your phone, is the screen an input device or output device? It's an input. It's an output. It's output. So is it input now or output? Output. Someone said input. There's no input. You guys don't think it's an input device? Why do you say it's input? Why do you say it's output? Okay, it shows information, right? But it's not like this one. This one is just a screen. If I touch it, nothing will happen. But how do you control your phone? You touch it, you press the button on the screen. So what's that? Is it input or output? That's input. So is a phone screen input or output? Huh? Is input. You don't have buttons on your phone now. You don't have any buttons. There's no buttons. That's the power button. How about on the screen? If I want to control your phone now, I'm going to press the screen. So can a device serve both as input and output?
Yes.
right? For our phone, at least for the screen, you know that it's serving both as an input and output. So we need this knowledge because the project that we'll be doing from now on, from this class to even after now, are going to be based on that knowledge. You see a lot of components that are being used with our, I heard you talking about microcontrollers, right? With those microcontrollers, they are either input devices or output devices. So you need that knowledge to know how to implement code. So the essence of this class is to open your mind to the technologies that are being used and how they are being used. Because you're going to use a couple of components in your day-to-day life, and sometimes they look like magic. They are not magic. They are just logical processes behind what is happening. Right? You can see something like Rome. Was it in this class that I did that video of Rome?
No, it's from the last class.
It was the last one. So you see things like drones. You see things like robots that look like dogs, that look like actual human beings that can even feed, robot that can feed, can convert from like one stuff to the other. There are a lot of crazy things going, but we are just going. So you're on this. Okay. So all of you now know how to locate a GPIO pin on your Raspberry Pi. Okay, let's do that exercise. Where is that Raspberry Pi? There's one that is not connected.
Where's that box? This one.
Oh, was it that one? So I'm going to show us how this Raspberry Pi can work. And we'll be talking about microcontrollers so that you see what you'll be using. Okay, so for some of us, can you go to an image of the CPU? For some of us that have seen the CPU elsewhere, it's like a box, right? Maybe if he has an image to show you. But what do you think is the CPU for what you'll be using here? The Raspberry Pi. So how is it that this tiny thing can do what that big stuff does? This is very small. So this is what we know as the CPU, right? It has for some of us that have not seen it, this is the thing that does the whole processing for your computer. Because the screen only shows you information and then the mouse and keyboard just send some data into the computer. But this is the thing that actually does the whole processing. So in this thing, we have a disk we call a ROM. That's like what you use for storage, right? If you want to buy a phone, they tell you it's 64 gig or it's 32 gig. That's the ROM. It's just storing information for you. And the information you store, you can access it at any time. What I mean is, when you send or when you download a movie now on your phone, for instance, and the phone goes off, when you still on it, you see it, right? You still see it there. But if you're doing something like, if you're playing, I like using game as an example. If you're playing Call of Duty now, it's a shooting game. Or let me use something more. Have you played Subway Surf before? Good. If you're playing Subway Surf, and let's say you're in stage 32 for instance, as you're playing it, your battery is very low and it goes down. If you turn back the phone, is it going to continue from where it stopped? It won't continue from where it stopped, right? But why is that? It will show you probably the last stage that you were in. It's not going to continue from that particular stage you're in. The reason is that this kind of memory stores information for you all throughout the lifespan of it. That is, whether you open it next tomorrow or next year, you still find what you get. But there's another kind of memory called the RAM. The RAM only stores the current information that is processing at that moment. So like your game now, your game is okay, it's not this RAM. Not is this RAM. Maybe from now, if you get to open a laptop, you see the RAM inside. I don't know how many of you get that thing, but it's something like this. Now, everything you're doing currently on your phone or on your computer, the information that is processing and stuff is happening here. And it doesn't go past when the phone is on. Once that phone goes off, that's all. Everything in this thing will wipe until it comes on again. Then you start processing whatever you're doing. Is that okay? Okay. So right on this board, we have the RAM, we have the ROM, we have a couple of ports that we can connect stuff to. So Raspberry Pi was made by some guys in the UK, and they have this idea of making this thing so that it is portable and accessible for people to use, rather than having to set up a full machine like this or buying a laptop. You can just get this and connect it to anything. So you notice that we'll be using HDMI to connect to our monitors, right? For some of us that are noticed. So this is it right there. We use this to connect to the screen. If you have a smart TV or any large screen that uses a HDMI, you can connect it to Raspberry Pi. And we have a jack for audio. I've shown us before when we were doing the lesson on sound. You can connect to that jack. And then at the bottom here, we have an Ethernet cable and then 4 ports where you can connect mouse, keyboard, flash drive, and something else. I don't know. You can connect all of them right here. And then we have the power, which is the first thing up here. So it's very delicate. If this thing is on, I think this one is damaged. That's why I'm matching it like this. And it's very easy to damage because it's bare. There's nothing covering it. It's not like your laptop that has a fine shield around, right? This is a board that you're looking at directly. So any contact with water or any external component that it doesn't like is going to spoil. 170,000 or 50,000. That's how much this thing costs. When I started learning about Raspberry Pi 2018, it was just around 18,000, 20,000. But of course, dollar, lifestyle on cost. So this into is more expensive. Alright, so I want to introduce this very part, which is the most important part of this Raspberry Pi for our own use. This is the most important part. So we talked about how you can use microcontrollers to control other components, right? Input devices or output devices. You can control them from here. But how? Now, think about a laptop. The only way you can control something outside of a laptop is maybe via Wi-Fi or maybe USB port or something. But if I give you another component like a sensor, we have sensors here, we have the cables you'll be given, you can't connect that to your laptop. So you can't create some external system outside of your laptop. It has to be within. But these pins allows us to connect to other components that are outside here, and then we can send signals, send out signals to those components, receive signals from the components, and then process them inside the Raspberry Pi. Okay? Just like the example I gave you with the door in the supermarket. As you're approaching, it senses that somebody is coming and then you open the door. So something like that, something like this can do that operation. We connect a sensor to this and see whenever a motion is sensed from this parameter, just open the door. And then if the person is gone and there's nobody close by, close the door. Alright? So there's a way this thing works, which is what has been explained for you before. But we're going to go over some of it. Now, you can see the way this Raspberry Pi is being positioned. Wherever your Raspberry Pi is, however it is, imagine it is positioned like this, with the pins on the right. This is how we will position it before we start counting to get whichever pin we want to use. So we have different pins. We have ground pins, gold pins, GPIO pins. As with any other electrical component, we need a positive and a negative. Am I correct? I don't know any component that works with only negative or only positive. It has to be negative and positive, right? So we have pins here that are voltage pins. Most of the time, all of the time, they serve as our positives if we are using them. And then we have ground pins which serve as our negative. Is that right? So that allows us to power up an input device or an output device that is outside of the Raspberry Pi. But there's these special ones. These ones are GPIO pins. What they do is they just take charge of controlling any component. So they can serve as a ground, they can serve as a positive. They can serve as input pins. So an instance of an input, as we talked about, is the sensor now, for example. So the thing that any sensor does is just to pick one particular information and send the data to the Raspberry Pi. I'll give you a few examples. The motion sensor is a particular kind of sensor that just picks data of motion. Let's say we want to know if anything is moving, whether it's pure water, weather, or leaf, or human being, or fly. Anything that moves there, let it pick that motion, right? We have another kind of sensor, which is temperature sensor. That one just sends a number to represent the degree of heat or cold in a room. We have ultrasonic sensor. That one just senses how close something is to a component. So if I put the sensor here and it's facing this way, I can know how far or close a thing is to it, right? And then act accordingly based on just what I want. So we have a lot of sensors, but the one that we'll be using for our class is motion sensor. All right. So we are going to do an example, an exercise actually, that will use the Raspberry Pi and we'll use Scratch to control lights on our breadboard. Have you explained this to us? So let me talk about the things that have been issued to us. For this exercise, you need to be extra careful because you're dealing with hardware directly on this thing, on the Raspberry Pi, and it's easy to damage. Let me talk more about this because it's important. Look from up. We have 1 on the first left side, right? Where's 2? On the right. Where's 3? Left, down, right? So if you look at the numbering, it's not 1, 2, 3 like this, or 1, 2, 3 like this. It's crossing. So 1 is there, 40 is here. We have 40 pins on this thing. Is that okay? So these ones in the middle are just pin numbers. But the actual thing that the pins do are labeled by the size. For example, GPIO 17. Where is GPIO 17? Pin 11, right? So when we say pin 11, connect to pin 11, you know that we are talking about this GPIO. When we say GPIO 34, you know that we are talking about pin 18, right? Now, here is how I get to count them. Because if you tell me to connect to 18, I may want to start doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 till I get to 18. That's going to take me more time, right? I just go to the right and then count from the top until I get to 18 and figure out that pin. So what pin is this on the right? Counting from the top. Is it 9? Everybody has counted and it's 9. It's 9, right? So pin 18 is the 9th pin on the right. So I'll just count on my Raspberry Pi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. When I get to 9, I know that I'm on GPIO 54. The scratch that we are going to be using. In Scratch, it doesn't care about this pin number. These pin numbers in the middle are just for us to know which pin we are dealing with. But when you're writing your code in Scratch, it's just the GPIO pin that we care about. You don't care about the pin numbers. Alright. It's the same thing for every other pin. For example, now, this ground pin, what number is it on the left? 5?
Yeah.
Is the 5th on the left, right? So when we say connect to pin 9, we're just talking about the 5th pin on the left. So how are we going to connect to these pins? How are we going to connect to them? We have these cables and will be issued. If you look closely at the cable, you see that one side has a pin out and one side does, the other side doesn't, right? So we call this kind of cable a male to female cable. The side with the pin is the male, the other side without is the female. So obviously the female cable is supposed to connect to these pins, right? Because it's the one that can slot in, just like this. So this is how we connect to the GPIO pin, not GPIO. This is how we connect to the pins on the Raspberry Pi. And then the other side connects to something we call a breadboard. This white stuff is called a breadboard. Bread as in the one you eat, but you don't eat this one. This breadboard is used for connecting components that you want to experiment with. I give the instance of when you're trying something new and you want to check out how the connections will go, but you don't want to try it in the actual sense. Let's say I'm a scientist, technician, physicist, whatever. I develop a bulb that can work with, let's say, a very high voltage, right? A voltage that if I connect to this bulb, will just destroy them. But I want to try it out. I don't want to try it out in the actual thing because anything can happen, right? It may shock me, it may kill me, it may kill somebody or hurt any other person. So I'm going to use this breadboard to do the connections right on it and then test it first. By the time I'm certain that this thing will work, I can now take it out from here and put it in the actual thing where it will work. Now there's a way the breadboard works. If you look at the breadboard you have, it has lines by the sides. There's one with red line and there's blue line, right? On both sides. Now this thing is divided. It has a divider at the middle. That separates the left side of the breadboard from the right side. And then this part by the side, you see where we have the plus and red. These pins here are connected from top to bottom. This means that if I have a voltage from somewhere, from here, maybe I have a 5 volts from here, and I put it on this line here. On this other line down here, please get this explanation. A lot of times, students just miss it out, and then they keep on saying, my bulb is not working or something is not working. Whereas it's just this simple stuff that we've explained to them. They're not getting it. from here, for example, I take a 5 volts and it comes to this pin. This first one on the right, because if I take this pin there and put downward on the same line, I told you they are connected, right? Down on the same line. If I take this other side and plug it to another component, the same 5 volts that come from here, it will go out to here. You understand? Because this line is connected. The same thing with the one that is blue, the negative. If I put it on here, and this is coming from another component, if I put this here on the same line downwards like this, because they are connected, I'm going to have the same thing over here. Are we together? Alright. But this one's in the middle. How many pins are in the middle? Can anybody tell me? Aside this one by the side, how many pins are there?
5.
There are 5 pins, right? Now, each of those 5 pins are connected. So these ones are connected horizontally. So yeah, are you fine? Are you okay? So these 5 pins are connected horizontally like this. This means that if I put a pin here, whatever pin, I put it here, and it's coming with some power. If I plug this one on the same line, it's going to flow to these other components. Are we together? Alright. So that's that about this one. Then we have the LED. This LED, I think it has been explained, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the longest one is the ground. Another illustration I like to do so that where the black matter. I like to use illustration so that we get it up here. I know that you have to do it all the time. I used to draw this ugly bulb. This bulb cannot work. If you buy a bulb first time, you don't be looking at it like you were looking at this one. But if you connect it to light, and this is what light is. At any point in time, a bulb must be connected to a positive and negative, right? Before it works. That is the same thing with this little LED we have here. This one that is the ground pin. The ground pin is serving as our negative, right? The ground pin is serving as our negative. Each of this one can serve as our positive. Are we together? Each of them can serve as our positive. But the current positive you are using at any time is going to be the light that will come on here. This is an RGB bulb. So there is a term that we'll be using in this class. You will hear negative and positive. You will hear low and high. You will hear off and on. What else? Sorry?
1 and 0.
Yeah. You hear 0 and 1. You hear in programming, when you get to actual software, this can also be false, this can also be true. So whenever you hear us say off, we mean 0 or we mean negative. Whenever you hear us say on, we mean positive or we mean true. Now, let's do the exercise of connecting this to our breadboard. You all have them in your groups, right? Okay. So take your LED and connect it to the breadboard. But make sure you know which pin is the longest and where you're putting it. So this is how you're going to connect it. Anywhere on the breadboard, but make sure it's across like this. Down like this, not horizontally, vertically. Have you done that? Angela, stand up. First stand up. Are you sleepy? Are you okay? If you're not sure, it's best to go home. Maybe you go and check up or something. Okay, so the next thing you do is take one of these cables you're given and then put this first one on the line, the ground line, the ground of your LED. I told you to take note of which one is the ground, the longest one. Have you done that? Have you connected it? Okay, so take your resistor now. One of the resistors. We are going to connect it on the red. Remember that the first one is the red. So put the resistor, one side of the resistor on the red line. One side of the resistor should be on the red line. Okay, the other side of the resistor, put it elsewhere. That is, don't put it on any line that these 4 pins are connected to. Let it be just anywhere on the board, but not on the same side, on the same line with these 4 ones. Any other place on the board. Have we done that? Okay. Take your second cable. Take another cable. Another jumper wire. Plug this one on the same line of the resistor. You remember we plugged in on the first pin, right? Then the other side we plugged in on another different line. So put this other pin on the same line that the other side of the resistor is. The resistor is coming from the LED to another pin. Plug this other cable on that other side, the other pin of the resistor on the same line. So let me explain what we have here. Are we together? Is anybody lost? I think group 3 has not caught up. Are you with us? Let me explain this in case you missed it. Hello, group 1. Group 1. Beatrice. Let me explain this in case you missed it. Because he won't be always there to do it for you. We first plug this LED, right? We took note of the ground pin, which is the longest one. Then we connected one of our jumper wires to that line horizontally. I told you they are connected, right? So on the same line with the ground. Then we took the resistor and plugged one side of the resistor to the red pin, which is the first one before the ground. The other end of the resistor, we placed it on another line that is not part of any of these lines, right? Then that other end that we connected the other side of the resistor, we connect our second cable. So this is what it means. Our positive will be coming through this resistor. We need the voltage or current that is coming from this cable to be limited before it gets to the bulb. That's why we are putting a resistor, right? So whatever will be coming from this cable will have to go through the resistor to our red. Are we together? Then the ground does not need resistor because it's not should I say it's not harmful. How many of us have been electrocuted before? Like you've been shocked by electricity? I think it's all of us. If you have not been shocked before, how does it feel? Can you describe it? It brings you to life. That's how I would describe it for you. It brings you to life. Whatever you're doing, the whole of your senses will come back. So which of the cables was it that shocked us? We said every component has positive and negative, red and black, right? So was it the red wire or the black wire that shocked you? Red or black? Black. It was the black that shocked you. That's the. Who else was it that the black wire shocked? Okay, it's the red. If the black shocked you, maybe somebody in his own wisdom took the black wire and put to the light, he put to red, and then switch red to black. So you thought it's the black that is negative. You didn't know that it's positive. So it's the red wire that actually shocks you. Why? Because the one that carries the current, right? Black is just ground. Ground means like negative, neutral. There's nothing. And that's why we are doing the same thing here. Anywhere you see ground, there's no power there. You don't need to fear it. You don't need to put resistor. But whichever one serves as the positive, you have to put this resistor. Do you understand? Okay. So now, this is the next thing you do. If your own doesn't work at this point, it means you got something wrong. You're not done. Should I go over it again? Okay. Please try and get it this time. In fact, I'll remove everything. I start again. So this is my LED, right? The first step is to take this LED and put it on the breadboard on which we are doing our connection. Now, before I put it, I'll take note of the longest pin, which is my ground. Once I place it on the board, one pin into each port here. One pin goes into each port on the breadboard. You have taken note of the ground, right? Are you connected? Next thing you do is to take one cable. That longest pin, the ground pin that we noted, put this pin side on the same line. I told you each five pins here are connected. So put it on the same line as the ground. Have you done that? Have you done that? So next you take the resistor. Take one of the resistors that you were using. The blue stuff with lines by the side. As I explained before, this resistor just takes in power from somewhere and then it emits it. It's like your bulb needs, for example, 10 amps. But you're sending in your source from your socket is trying to send in 20 amps, which will destroy the bulb. You can put a resistor, it will emit it before it gets to the bulb. So plug one side on the red pin. The red pin is the first one at the top. So plug it on one side, the same line with the red. And then the other end of the resistor, plug it somewhere else. Anywhere else other than where these four are connected to. Anywhere else. Have you all done that? Are you there now? So you plug it on the same line with the red. Now the pin that you plug to another place, take another cable and then put it on the same line of the other side of the resistor, the second side of the resistor. Plug it on the same line. final step, we are going to connect it to the Raspberry Pi and see how we can power this thing from the Raspberry Pi. We are going to do it in minutes before we write code in Scratch to control it. So take the ground. Remember the ground cable that is coming from the LED, the LED. Take the ground cable and plug it to pin 9. So count from the screen. Pin 9, what pin is pin 9 on the left? The 5th pin on the left. Remember the placing of your Raspberry Pi. It has to be like it is on the screen. Please do it carefully. Be careful with our Raspberry Pi. Plug it on the ground pin 9. Have you done that? Pin 9. The 4th on the left. The 4th pin on the left.
The way it is on the board, imagine it is placed like this. So fifth on the left, 1, 2, 4, 5. This is the left and this is the right.
Okay. So the other one, wait, I've not put my own. This one on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the other one, which is serving as our positive, place it on pin 2. That's the first pin on the right. If your LED comes on, that means you've gotten it right. If it doesn't, then you've gotten it wrong. I told you.
Your Raspberry Pi is So I told you place your Raspberry Pi. So this is how you should place it. This is the left and this is the right. So this thing is like the ground pin. This is how it is. 1, 5 on the top on the left. Then this one, the first on the right. This one, you put it on the positive. This is the ground. This color. This thing is ground. People will put positive and negative.
Okay. So make sure that your connection is right. Because at some point we are going to redo it. But I won't be here to instruct you on where you put it. You just remove everything and then you have to do it yourself. Okay. So now that we've connected to 5 volts and ground, our LED is on, right? Now there is no way of turning this thing off, rather than just removing the cable. Am I correct? And that is not good because we cannot have our light always on. We have to have some way of controlling it. Now this is where scratch comes in. On scratch, we are going to write code to tell it when to come on and when to go off. But we have one other problem. This is a 5 volts. There's no way we can instruct the 5 volts on what to do because it's just a 5 volt. You can't do any other thing. It always serves as a positive. So instead of a 5 volts, we're instead going to control and connect it to any GPIO pin of our choice. Now that GPIO pin is what will allow us to set it as a high or a low. So we can use it to turn it on and off, right? Whenever we say it should go off, the light will just turn off. When we tell it to come on, then it will turn the light on. But before we do that, let's do another exercise just to make you understand what is actually happening. Now, from our board, please follow along here. This is a red, green, blue light, RGB LED. So take.
Before we take it out, I'm going to explain the connection. 5 volts is coming
From here, right? And it goes through what? Through the resistor.
Remember this cable
That is coming from 5 volts is plugged to the line of the resistor. Am I correct? It's the resistor that now goes to the red light, right? So this is what you do to test the other colors. This other line that is connected to the red of my LED, take it out and then put it on the green.
The green is the third pin. Do you have green light?
You don't have green light, then you're doing the wrong thing. You're not supposed to remove the cable. You're not supposed to remove the jump power. You're supposed to remove the resistor.
You're supposed to move.
Resistor. Now, to make sure again that our blue is working, you can take out the same side of the resistor to get green. Place it on the blue.
You have blue right?
Okay. So there will come a point in time where you're going to connect all the resistors that were given to you. You connect one to red, you connect the other one to green, you connect the last one to blue, and you're going to control all of them. But now I just want to show you how you can control these lights from your Raspberry Pi. So let's go back to the red. Take it back to red.
Are we back on
red? Okay. So now, because as I explained, we just connected to 5 volts, and 5 volts, we can't control 5 volts from our code. It's always going to be 5 volts, always positive. But now we want to control our LED from code. What we will do is we are going to take this out from 5 volts, the first pin on the right, take it out from here and connect it to pin 7.
Connect it to
Pin 7. That's the ground. I said it will be 5 volts. Pin 7. Which one is the 5 volts? Is it the 5 volts on the board?
Where is the 5 volts there?
Which one is the 5 volts? So take that out and put it on pin 7. Pin number 7. Look at it. It's 7. Look at page 7 there. Level 4.
On the left. The fourth pin on the left. Let me use your key. I want to write. Let me project on here.
Okay, so let's see how we can use Raspberry Pi to write our code. I hope everybody's possibility is on GPIO 4.
Okay. All right.
You have to use the computer that you're connecting the Raspberry Pi to. So start a new project on it, like this. Then,
If you check all through,
we can't have, or we don't have at this point, we don't have any block that is for GPIO, right? There is nothing that says anything is connecting it.
controlling a block or something. So the first thing we'll do is, as usual,
Let's use the space key.
space key. Then there's something we do.
Whenever we are starting our code for GPIOs or Raspberry Pi or any component as such that we're using,
The Raspberry Pi.
we have to broadcast something. You remember this broadcast, right? This one is used to send a signal. But so far, we send a signal to another part of our code, and then we receive that signal and do something. But now we are just sending a signal directly to the Raspberry Pi. But the first thing we'll do is to
Start
the GPIO server. So we'll say GPIO server on. That is exactly like this.
Make sure you're spelling it.
Right.
The spelling is wrong.
Or you give spacing between the words. It won't work. You give
Spacing like this. You fail. So there's no space. Are we together?
Can we move on? So click OK.
Alright.
So if I join this like this, click on edit. Click on edit here. This edit. What do you see here? Start GPIO server. Now, what you have here, GPIO server on, is the same thing as start GPIO server. Let me show you. So now that we have connected these two, press your space bar.
Have you pressed the space bar?
Click on edit again. What do you see?
Stop GPIO server.
Server, right? Do you know what this means?
It means our server was
Was off, so it was showing start GPIO server. But because we said broadcast GPIO server on, this has started the server for us. That is why you're seeing stop here. Do you understand? Okay. So the next thing to do is to do our config. I told you in Scratch before, whatever you're doing at the start of your code is configuration. you're basically just setting the tone right. You're setting the settings for your code right first before you start doing anything. So now we're going to configure the pin that you're using. Yes, this is the time I ask the question. Our LED, is it an input pin or output pin? Is it an input device, sorry, or output device? Output, right? We're sending a signal out. So now we are going to configure it. We'll create another broadcast and say config 4. We are using GPL 4, right? What did you say? Config 4 in. Sorry, out. Our device is an output device. Okay, because our LED is an output device, we configure 4 as out. Remember when we were told that we cannot use one pin as both input and output at the same time. Our pin is different. It's not our screen phone. This is a pin. So now we'll configure this one as out. You click on this and then apply. Okay. So now okay, so under control, the same block that we use for broadcast, pull it out and create a new one, a new broadcast. This time around, we want to say GPIO 4 on. GPIO 4 on. Try to attach everything you have like this and then press the space bar. Press the space bar. Your light is not on something.
Not just right, I would. What is that?
Fourth pin on the left.
Front or drum?
The fourth pin on the left, not on the right. If your light is not on, there's a problem. All our lights are on, right? So without this first two, this one will not work. So how do we turn it off now? Any ideas? GPIO 4 off. That would work. But if you put that here like this, what do you think will happen? From our idea of using scratch and the blocks, if here I say GPIO 4 off, which is correct, this should turn off our lights. But if I put it directly here, what is going to happen here? It will just go on, right? So this we might not even see the light on because as soon as it comes on, it goes off. So what do we do? Sorry? Wait 1 second. So if you have what I have, your light should come on for 1 second and go off. I've seen instances where you will run this code like this, and then someone will be trying to stop it. They will go and be pressing this red this thing to stop the light from showing, to turn it off. It's not going to work. This red button here is just for your sprite. It has nothing to do with the thing. It comes on and off, right? Okay. So I'm going to give you your first task for the morning. I need you to make this thing blink 10 times. You've done it a number of times. So make it blink 10 times.
Let me see how you're going to do this. It's blinking, but this can be better. Your code can be better. It is blinking for sure, but your code can be better. Yours too can be better. Yes, this is optimized. This is how your code should be. Careful. Is it blinking? So if yours is not if it's not going off for 1 second, you're not getting it right. Because as it's coming on for 1 second, it needs to go off for 1 second. Okay. So let's just figure it out together. Is it blinking? Okay, so let's just figure it out together. So this is what some of you did. Because already you know that this is going to be 10 times for you, right? You just put it directly here. But there's an issue with this. It's going to blink, but it's not going to wait after it goes off. So it's going to come on for 1 second, just go off sharply, and then go on again. So we add 1 wait here, right? This was our initial solution. Am I correct?
So now it comes on for 1 second and then goes off for 1 second before it goes to the top again. But there's another thing. Whenever you're doing a config and starting server on, you don't need to start server multiple times and you don't need to config multiple times. So never put them inside a loop because it's enough for you to do it once.
Are we communicating?
So you only need to do the off and on here. But for the turning on, server on, and the config, it should be at the top. Let them execute just once before you start turning off and on. And this is true for any other component that you're going to be using. You don't need to put these things inside a loop. Okay? So, question, how do we make this thing blink faster? Reduce the waste time, right? So let's try. Let's change this to something else. I'm going to 0.5. Let's try 0.5.
Whenever you're making
Changes to your code, you stop it from running first.
don't allow
Your code to execute while you're making changes. Okay. So now it works fine, right? Any question?
if there's no question.
You allow me the assumption that you understand because I'm a very good teacher.
How do
You
you
make it switch color. I like that question. This is what you're going to do by yourself.
okay, so
Let me explain. I've shown you how the connection from your Raspberry Pi can go to the board and control each of the lights, right? So depending on the light you connect your resistor to, that's the light that will come on. Am I correct? That the red, the green, or the blue.
but you have other
Resistors that are indicated to you. You have 2 extra resistors and 2 extra cables. What you do now is you're going to extend the code that you just did now. You connect the resistor and the cable to the other 2 lights. That's the green and the blue. You understand? And then you connect the pins, the GPIO pins to extra. You're going to connect them to other GPIO pins. Can I see that GPIO? Let me see. These are next. I'm going to give you this exercise. You do it, then we'll still come again and be together. But while you're trying to achieve it, you can ask us questions. Please take this cable out. Connect to your laptop. Let me tell you.
okay,
So this is the exercise that you do. You are giving 2 extra GPI, I said GPI, 2 extra resistors and 2 jumper wires, right? Are we together? Hello, group 4. Look up. So now, we are no longer going to use GPIO 4. We use GPIO 4 for red. What we'll do now is you use GPIO 17, GPIO 27, and GPIO 22. So this will be our red, this will be our green, and this will be blue. So I'll leave the code for you to figure out. You are going to still extend your own code to make them work. Hello, everybody. I'm actually not done. Let me tell you the last thing that you do in your code. Hello, group 3. Group 3. Let me tell you the last thing that you do. These are the connections that you do. That's quite fine. But we are not going to just use the space key to allow you to blink. You're not just blinking this time. In fact, the space key is supposed to turn everything off. Are we together? When you are done with your project, when you press the space key, everything should go off. When you press R on your keyboard, the red will come on. When you press G on your keyboard, the green will come on. The red will go off. When you press B, blue will come on. Red will go off, green will go off. You understand? You get it, right? It's very simple, right? I know. Okay, so first things first, at least connect the other two components you have and then put them to GPIO 17, 27, and 22. Make sure you get them right. Red, green, blue. Let's start with that.
So while you are doing your exercise, hello. While you are doing your exercise, I also have some questions for you. Just think about them, and then later you can give me answers. So my first question is, we agree that the first time we connect to 5 volts, right? And then we say we can't control 5 volts. Is that correct? So my question is, how many volts is GPIO please? Just think about it. How many voltage are the GPIO pins supplying? That is one. Then number two, let's assume you are at home, you want to replicate this project, you have your Raspberry Pi. When you want to buy your resistor, what would you tell them you want to buy? You use resistor, right? So just think about it. You will still come back later and then discuss about it. Okay? So when you want to buy the resistor at the shop, what will you tell them you want to buy? So that they give you exactly what it is. And also GPIO pins, how many volts are they giving out? You need, I didn't give you resistor. need help. I'm here. You need help. I'm calling.
case you are getting something wrong, just tell me about it. This is all you know. So this is what will happen. For each group, one is doing the mouse stuff, another person will be doing the keyboard. So which computer you use? This one. You're still figuring out the thing. These are the things you're using. So in 11 is what the number was left, counted on 2, 4, 5, 6. So the 6th pin on the left. Then you go to the next one. The next pin is 27. Where we are. This is what I mean. I want to press. Once I press green, it will be green. Yeah. Then still stop there. But if I press red, then it will and it doesn't need to press. Let me just show you that. So in our meeting, what makes it look
Can you see what it's saying? Mixing the colors, right? This is what I want. So when I press up, doesn't need to run. Let it just be blue. Understand? Let it not mix with red. Let it not show. Let it not. If you are very green, let it just be green. Let it not be green. Let it not be green. Let me show you what to do. When you've done that, you're going to update your code. You're not using for anymore. Red is 2017. Green is using 27. Blue is using 22. Right? So what I want to do now is to not space here. When I press the space key, I want this thing to just show. I don't want it to show the rest of it. But if I press R, then I want to see the red line on the LED. If I press green, it just shows green light. There is no red there. If I press blue, it shows just the blue and nothing else. Then if I press the space key, everything goes off. That's it. Let me see you guys achieve that. Just modify, just see. Yes, I checked. I'm not figuring it out. But why do you use
press
and I press space.
it's going to observe this is so I just want
I don't need to stay on it. I don't need to
my press and just stay on it. When you figure this one out, then see that one. Where your sister is. At the point that I'm pressing hard now. Where is the on? So if I press the it doesn't turn red off. What you need to do is to turn red off when I press it. You don't have to press hard. So when you turn R on, when you press B, in fact R and push, when you press B, then press and push. By the way, I think our break time is up. So it's time for break.
I've set it up, but the system fire off. When you set it, it's not on the light.
Okay. They are smart people.
Can clear that. No, I mean you have already set it. So
But it's not working again.
the bulb is not.
Okay. We can look at that after break. Let's take our break now. Let our heads full of and think of the solution before we continue. So save your work.